Hello, Advanced Animation. I'm going to give the lecture ahead of time on recording. If you see it ahead of time, I prefer to do it this way, just so you can see me, and it's nice and clean, and it's very quick, and it's good quality, and I don't get sidetracked. So I'm going to do the first, let's call it fourth, of the self-portrait project. We're going to do it in 4 parts. We're going to do, here, let me show you. We're going to do it in, we're going to do it here in the eye socket area, the left eye socket area. And then we're going to do the mouth, which will then branch out to the nose and the jawline. And then we'll do the ear, and we're going to spend a lot of time on that ear. And then we connect it all. And this model doesn't have that part, but then we kind of build the head around and we connect all the dots. So those are the 4 big phases of our self-portrait project. And we're going to get started here with the setup of the pictures and the eye today. All right, so with that, let's get to it. The only real new tool that you're going to be doing today, I think, is the Create Polygon tool. This is a little bit more unrehearsed than the previous video, so there might be something I failed to mention in my list here, but we'll see. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a new scene. I'm going to go ahead and save this one. And we need to set up our image planes first here. So I'm going to go to Create, and I'm going to go to Free Image Planes, and click on that. And I'll go to my Attribute Editor in the upper right-hand corner, choose my folder, and here I'm going to navigate to my desktop. And I have a new Maya, and so it's going to ask me all these things. And I want to find my self-portraits. Nope. Go back. Where are they? There they are, the portraits. If they're upside down or the wrong way, that's fine. When you do take your pictures, do make sure, it's a little hard to see when they're sideways, that you are actually dead on. Like, this is bad. I should have my mouth should be a little bit more further apart. I should not have my glasses on. And notice my head is a little to the side, and so that's actually, I can't see one ear. It's actually going to make me asymmetrical. If you can have someone take a picture for you rather than doing a selfie, the further away they get and then they use a zoom, the better, because the selfie camera also is a little bit more fisheye. It'll make your nose and your mouth bigger while kind of minimizing this aspect. It'll still happen on the other shots, but if you use like the zoom camera, like if you have a phone with like multiple lenses, that second one's going to be even better. Don't smile, and then don't do the look up thing. Again, that's going to be harder to get a read on your forehead, so you want to be dead on. So this one's getting better, but it's still a selfie. Still a selfie, but then I gave myself an angle. Better. I should have my mouth agape, but then also you can kind of see my nose is definitely protruding. I know I have a big nose, but it's bigger than it even is on screen, and then I'm kind of smiling there. These are all bad. So the good example is this one. My mouth is agape. Someone else took it for me. My hands are down, which relaxes my neck, and I'm very straightforward. Both my ears look like they're about evenly distributed, and I'm just going to have to rotate this over. So I'm going to hit open, and then it's set off to the side. I'm going to hit E, and if you remember that cool trick, if you hold down the J key, it will snap 15 degrees, which is quite handy. I'll hit W. I'm going to scoot it back a little bit, but not too far yet. And I'm going to leave it there. And now I could just duplicate it. Command D to duplicate, or I can go to Create New Image Plane. But I like duplicating it and just switching this one to my side view, which will be this one, and it's already rotated. Now I can hit E again, hold J, and rotate it so that my oops, didn't hit J. And so that my nose is facing forward. And now I'm going to line these up. Now, in one of the videos I've provided in the Canvas, they do this process where they really match everything up precisely on Photoshop, and then they import the dual image together, and that way everything stays consistent. That might be a little bit better, but I didn't want to walk us through opening up Photoshop and doing all the layers and laying everything out. So this is a little bit more freehand, a little sloppier, let's say. One thing I like to do is I like to make a cube. I'm going to make it a nice long cube here. I'm going to make it nice and bright. I'm going to assign a favorite material, Lambert. It went off the screen. Make it orange. And just come on, get me that. My color picker. Oop, that might be too bright. Kind of tame that down a little bit. Okay. And what this is going to help me do is it's going to help me line up the front and the side view. So let's line up my hairline first. And what's going to happen is I might need to grow or shrink one of these images. And when I shrink it, I then have to move it again, right? It's going to be a shrink, move type deal. I also, my front view is a little off to the left. Like it was not perfectly flat. That's okay. I'm just going to rotate it until, now my face is asymmetrical, right? My left eye does hang a little lower than my right eye. I'm going to assume because I sleep on my right side a lot, so it pushes my head up, and I'm going to move that, and I'm going to make sure I am down on the origin here. Let me zoom in on that one. So I'm going to be down the middle. Make sure it's cutting me right in half. I mean, ideally, if I'm doing this, I don't have a beard, but we're just going to have to live with that because I'm not shaving. And about there. Does that look right? Again, my left eye and my right eye are slightly asymmetrical. And so are my ears. Almost everyone's ears are not perfectly aligned. That actually helps with your up and down radar as you're listening. And then eyes, as you grow older, one tends to go up, one tends to go down. It's a lot of fun. So now, let's compare again to the side. My side view is looking pretty aligned with, oops, I didn't want, wrong one. Is looking pretty aligned with my front view. I might need to make that a little bigger, but it's looking fairly good. All right, hairline's a good spot. The top of the brow, if your expression is pretty relaxed, is a good spot, but that could fluctuate and change. So my top view, my eyes are aligned, and you want to use these orthographic views, because notice that it's at the top of my eyebrow here, but depending on how I'm looking at it in my perspective view, it's at my eye, it's elsewhere. So looks like I need to raise up my shot here, and I'm going to push this back so I can see the guidelines again. So that's looking pretty good, and I can always go back and check with my hairline. Oops, let me go. At the top of my hairline. Ooh, so it looks like I might need to make this a little bit bigger, and that's going to make me have to move everything again. So once you rescale something, you have to keep resizing it and repositioning it. So that's the top of my hairline. And now let's see how my eyes are doing. It's pretty good. Just lower it down a little bit. I think I'm going to have to rescale it. And then you're going to hear me make this joke several times, and I'm going to apologize ahead. These pictures are not hard and fast rules. This is the pirate's code. It's really more of a guideline. I'm not even going to try to do a pirate accent. And then the top of my mouth looks like I need to make this picture, the side view picture, a little bigger still. Use universal, make it bigger on all fronts. Move it back a little bit, down a little bit, and we keep adjusting. So this does take a while, a little back and forth, a little smaller. I know, it's very nitpicky. I'm going to hide this window so I get more screen. Pull these both up. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's start back up the top. Okay. Top of the hairline. That's pretty close. I'm going to say that's pretty good. Top of my little eyebrow arch. Again, pretty close. It's a little off. Right in the middle of my eyes. It's looking pretty good. The bulb of the nose. The bulb of the nose. The mouth, the top lip mouth. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then the chin. The chin's hard to read with the beard hair. Another good one is the top of the ears. It looks like I would lower this a little bit more. Right? So these are the top of the ears. Let me grab my, pull that down. And then maybe, but now oh no, because it's the bottom of the eye. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with that. Top and yeah. Nostrils, good. I got this wonderful little mole on this side to line up as well. It's a handy feature. And the corners of my mouth, if I'm having a neutral expression, it's good. I'm going to say we're good. So I can get rid of this, or I can just keep this as a reference later. Now that I have these all set, I don't need more orthographic views right now, but I will be coming back to it. And I want to ship these both far, far away. Send this one back and send this one over. Like so and like so. Actually, before I do that, let's get them closer again one more time. I want to make sure that my front view is lined up nice with my side view. Oops, sorry. My side view is lined up with my front view. There we go. Get that eye lined up at the origin point. That's the origin line right there. Remind me in class to show you guys how to change that color. We can make these brighter so they'll stand out. Okay. I'm going to send these way back. I can also lock them. So if I just want to grab both of them really quick, go to channels. That way I don't mess with them. I'm going to send this guy even further back. I want these really out of the way. I don't want them to be a distraction at all. Now I'm going to select everything here. Right click, lock. Zoom back in. Okay. Now with my orthographic view, I have this all nice and lined up. So what I'm going to do to start off my model is we don't start with a cube. We start with a fresh new tool called Create Polygon. So in modeling mode, this is also a good idea to remind you to save. Command Shift S for the first time. Save as. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go into this class. I'm going to call it Self Portrait Setup. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to do a new tool. I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, Create Polygon. I'm going to zoom in on this left eye here. I kind of like my right eye better, but left eye it is. And I'm going to draw. I'm going to make an octagon. Okay. It's going to be a tiny edge here and a tiny edge here. I would rather you make very tiny edges for the corners rather than coming to a point. Your life will be a little easier that way as we branch out, because this corner will suddenly fan out and become more. So I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to use where the iris and the eye meet on the eyelid. I lost count. You can count for me. And then again where the iris and the eyelid meet. It's getting hard to see. Maybe I'll hit 4 and click right there. And then I'm going to close it off by pressing Enter. And that closed off, right? There is my polygon. Don't worry about it being black. We're going to fix that in a second. If I wanted to adjust, I can easily adjust by pulling one up, pulling one over. Now, this is the eyelid. I can pull that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. I'm liking it. Whoop. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. And then this is the eyelid right here. All right. The next thing we're going to do is, I know someone's radar is going off and saying I'm using an end gun. Don't worry. We're going to fix that in a second. The first extrusion we do is the actual, just the thickness of the eyelid. So it's going to be a very small extrusion relative to everything else. And it's just going to be this little tiny pull out, which will help us kind of shape the polygon a little bit better before really kind of taking off. So I'm going to grab the entire edge here, the entire ring of the edges. I'm going to hit Command E. And I'm going to pull it out with the green arrow, keeping it local, making sure that little blue switches up. I'm going to call that local all the time. And then I'm actually going to want to pull it forward too. So I'm going to go to my side view and come over here and pull it forward a little bit. And you're going to notice that there's a few things that are off. So this is a great time to recalibrate your pictures if need be. But we'll get there. So just a little bit. I've just pulled it forward a little bit, and now I'm going to right click and hit object mode. All right. Now I'm going to hit face. I'm going to delete that center face. And now everything touching is a quad. Quad, 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 quad. You may also notice though that it's still black on the wrong side. So we want to just go to display, mesh display, and choose reverse. And now it's gray on the correct side. All right. So my next step is I've aligned it fairly well here with my vertices here. Sorry, with my front view. But now I'm going to want to go to these vertices here and align them well here. And now this is a great time if you have noticed that your eyes are a little bit off. Oops, go back to vertex. That one. I'm going to pull that one back, and that should be the corner of my eye. And if I lift this up, they're not aligned. So right now I know that my side picture is off. I did that on purpose, right? So I'm going to go here to my channel box. I'm going to select everything on my image plane and unlock it. And I'm going to start just by lowering it down. I might need to do something. Ooh, I thought I unlocked you. Select everything. Ooh. Select everything. Right click. Unlock selected. There we go. And move it down. Oh, too far. A little bit goes a long way on this thing. Undo. Just a nudge. Now I'm not, if it's the same size, which it does look like it is, like it's, I'm not going to try to rescale it. Just leave it at that. So I might come back to resizing this one, but I'm going to go back to vertices now. And I'm going to pull that one back too, because I know that's a round shape. So this is, and then maybe pull these forward. Whoop. It'll get a lot faster sooner, I swear. I'll grab those and grab those. I'm going to pull it forward a little bit. And maybe even. I'll grab that one and that one. Pull those so that it's covering the eyelid. And same thing with this guy and this guy. A nice little happy eyelid right there. All right. Here's the process. I just did it. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to grab the edges. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to manipulate my new fresh set of vertices until I see them fitting well both on the front and the side view. And then I'm going to grab the edges, extrude, manipulate the vertices over and over and over again. What I'm going to do is I don't want to have you guys just watch me model the whole time. So I'm going to do a few more for the eyelid, and then when I get to the important parts, I'll stop the video. I'll cut the video to the important bits, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's do one more extrusion, Command E. I'm going to keep it local again, and I'm going to pull it with the green arrow outward. Maybe a little, oops, and then maybe I might scale it so that they come out a little bit on each side. Not too much though. This is the eyelid thickness. This is going to be the eyelid, and I'm actually going to go about halfway. Our extrusions are going to get bigger and bigger as we go out, but I'm just going to leave it there for right now and go to vertex. And I'm going to pull this guy up to about here, and then this guy up to about there. So I'm going about halfway to my eyelid, and that one's going to be busy on the other side. And this guy is coming down low. I think I was really tired when I took this picture too. I think we all are with our evening classes. And we're just going to stick to that. Now, I am grabbing the center here because I am on an orthographic view. Be careful about that when you are on your front side. Now, the side view gets a little trickier. So I want to peel these two back. And I want to peel this one up. And this one. Oops, sorry, that was the eyelid, wrong one. And then as you're doing the eyelid, always start on the outside of the vertice ring and work your way towards the nose. Because this one I'm kind of guessing, because it's really hard to see, right? Because it's being blocked by everything else, because it's being wrapped around. So you do have to do some guesswork. right? Again, you're going to hear me say this joke over and over again. These photos are not the law. These are really more of a guideline to kind of get you put the stuff in the right place. Just grab those. There we go. And now this guy can come down a little bit. Look at that. And then if you have a nice wrinkly face like me, this will be tremendously helpful to start peeling it back. And we're not going back to where the eyelid sits in the skin or in the eye socket yet. We're doing kind of like a half. And these guys go way back. And if you wanted to see how it looks with 3, you could, but all right. So that is my eyelid cusp, and this is the start of my eyelid. That's going to really hold the shape when I hit 3. Okay, this one's going to be bigger. Now I'm going to the fold of where the eyelid and the lip rest right before it starts transitioning out of the socket. So this is the really soft, fleshy bits. I'm sure there's someone that knows these terms better than me. Please share them. Please share them in the comments below. So I'm going to grab those edges here. Guess what I'm going to do? I double click, grab the whole set of edges. I'm going to hit extrude. Again, I'm going to pull them out. This time I might switch to global for a second. And I might use scale. Just kind of scale them out evenly. And now what I'm going for is the contact point between the eyelid and the socket. And so again, I am going with my front view. And now I might start to need to go to 4 and 5, and someone might have shown you about X-ray. X-ray is good sometimes, but what I don't like about X-ray is it's not a hotkey. Like with my left hand, while I'm mousing intensely, I can switch between 4 and 5. There is an X-ray key, and some people like to work in the X-ray mode. This X-ray key will have to be done on every window, and it's right here. I do want to show it to you because it is on several demos, and it is handy at times. My only critique of it is that I don't have a hotkey for it, so I like switching between 4 and 5 rather than mousing up here, hitting X-ray, mousing back. Because there's sometimes I want to see it super solidly, and there's sometimes I still need to see it as transparent as possible. All right, this guy I'm actually going to start moving up, and I meant to do that sooner to branch out of that corner. Have these nice sockets, and then this one is going to become the corner there. And all right, looking good. Now I'm going to be checking on my side view, and this one, right? So it looks nice here. So I'm going to start. I have to keep in mind it's all. So this one I know needs to go back, and somewhere around there, and then this one also needs to go back like so. And now it's back. And now this is the one that was giving us trouble. Like if you're looking at it, you get very confused. So maybe even select the vertice on this side. You can't see where I'm pointing on the screen. Select the vertice over here on this side, and then line it up so that you're happy on the side view. And that looks right. Pull these way back, and then this guy is gonna go. Now we're cooking with some gas. Again, 4, 5. Set this back. And I think my angle is a little, I turned my head a little, if I turn my nose a little bit more to the left, you would have seen this a little bit more clearly where it's resting. So again, your photos aren't going to be perfect. So they're a guideline. They're not the law. If it comes to the model looking good or following the picture, the model looks good. That's the rule. Okay. And then when you're doing this, you're always going up to this perspective mode as well, just making sure it's making sense. Sometimes when you get locked into the two orthographic views, sometimes you lose track of where everything is here. All right. It's not the best, but we're going to keep going here. Going to go back to edge, repeating the process. Double click. I'm going to hit extrude. And now we're going out of the eye socket, and you can either go straight up to the edge of the brow, or you can do one in the middle and then to the brow. So I'm gonna hit extrude. I like going global now and using scale. You could try that just for like a starting point. Right here, I'm gonna hide this so I get more screen real estate. And so this is gonna be where the bridge is. This is up to the brow. I'm just gonna take a short. I'm gonna have a lower poly model, so I'm just gonna go straight to the brow. So I could also now start. Ooh, come on, get on edge. There you go. I could just grab edges. And so now this is starting to creep back up as it's coming out of the tear duct area. And I can also rotate this edge and scale this edge, or I can just go to vertices. Oh, it likes to be in 5. There you go, vertex. Something like that. And this is going to start to come back out now. Right? Now, we're just repeating this process over and over and over again until we get to what I call the Kano mask, right? From Mortal Kombat. So the eye, one brow, a little bit of the forehead, or most of the forehead, and this cheekbone. That actually is if you can kind of feel there's like where your skull gets separated and connected right here. There's a name for this too as well, which I will look up before the next video. But our goal is to have this zone modeled out. All right. So I'm going to skip and jump ahead and do a few more things. Maybe I'll just fast forward this. It'll be cool. Probably not, though. Ooh, he's got to go way forward. A little higher. Yes. You know what? I'm not. I lied. I'm going to do one more extrusion because this one's going to be a big one. This one's going to cover the next step over the brow. And now things are going to really start to fan out, right? So we spent a lot of geometry on these details here. That's so when we smooth it out, it's going to look good, right? And that holds its shape and it holds its edges. But now we're going to start covering more and more ground. So if I hit extrude again, I'm going to hit global, and I'm going to scale it out. I always feel like that gives me the best start. And now I'm going to go to vertex and start lining these up like so. This one needs to get pulled back. Now your nose is going to creep up and out a lot faster with a different set of verts. You can start leaving the nose alone. Maybe you can build this bridge out here, but you're going to leave this zone alone. You're going to wait. That's actually going to come up from the mouth. We'll talk about human anatomy later. So you can actually pull this guy over more. I'm going to pull these guys down too. I was thinking about too many things. All right. That's going to be the start of my eyebrow. This is my little, I have this extra little piece of fur on the top of my eyebrow. Like there's some actor that has that little extra tuft there too. I'm not sure it is, and I certainly don't want to compare myself to an actor. All right, whoop. There we go. And now I'm going to go to my side view and make sure these all look good on my side view. Now, another fun thing to do is find reference points on your skin with your blemishes, your freckles, your wrinkles, whatever you got. Those will become assets when you're modeling your face. So this guy needs to get moved way forward. Like I have a very protruding, a very high forward protruding brow or sunken eyes. And that's really going to take shape right here. So these definitely need to get moved forward more. So notice when I pull this forward, nothing changes on my front view. That's what you really want to check. Right? So, and you do have to guess, which is why it's nice to have this, because you're still not seeing the curve. Like we have two views, it's going to help, but I'm still not seeing that curve. Go up there a little bit. Now we're looking good. All right. Yes, like that. Maybe move this guy over more and down. Do I need to move this more forward? Is that already at my general? Now, what's going to happen, here's the next big step. I don't really need to do more of my nose bridge. I'm going to save that for the next step. So I'm not going to do a whole ring this time. So here's our next change. Now, I'm only going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, and that's going to be the start for the top. And then I'm going to grab these edges down here and extrude them down and out. I'm then going to fill in some gaps over here. So what I'm going to do is take these guys, and I'm going to do all 6 and hit extrude, which is going to get a little more complicated. So now I'm leaving 2 behind to be filled in later. So now I got this round to work with. Whoop. And go to vertexes. So it's always extrude from an edge, and it's always going to be line up the vertexes with the next round. So this is past my eyebrow now, and I can get even bigger. Got a nice little wrinkle right there. That's a good spot to aim for. And then this is definitely, the distance that we're seeing here on this front view is actually much larger on the side view. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to pull this one back, but then it's got to come in a little bit. So this is covering ground. You just don't want it to come behind itself, right? I'm going to find this nice little curve here. We're looking great. We're just going to keep going. Ooh. Okay, and now I got, ooh, that's too far ahead. This guy's got to come back. All right. Let's go, oop, hit 5. I got an edge. One more. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Command E. Pull them out this time. Someone always asks, when do you scale and when do you move? Depends. I don't have a good answer for that. You just kind of, I have this nice little place in my hairline. When I start getting to the hairline, that's a good place to stop. And I did this rather quickly, but we're getting a good head starting to form. Look at that. So I'm going to hit 3 mode. I'll work on that socket a little bit, but don't worry, we'll touch that up later. And, ooh, that came way too far out. Let's jut that back inward. The next thing I can do is I can go downward, right? I have 1, 2, get some of these edges happening. Extrude out, pull that one down. And that's probably where I'm going to stop. And if that's looking a little too flat, you tuck it in. Forward. And this guy's got to go way down like that. And this guy can go down. I'm keeping my quads. Now that I've made that, I can kind of pull that in. And this is about where we stop. I could continue up with these 3, but we are pretty much there. Nice work, guys. Now, if you want to spend a little more time perfecting it, go right ahead. Ooh, hit 4 here. There we go. Getting my nice, I got a nice little widow's peak here. That's always fun to model. This exercise is great for reminding you of how old or young you are. There. Pull that back. Pull that back. this one up for my nice little Withers peak there. I'll leave that. And that is my dog barking. And it looks like it is time to take a stop. And we'll do the camera in a second. When you've hit your hairline, you're good. You might have the instinct to clean it up a little and even out some of these curves. That's always a good idea too. It's going to be up to you if you want to turn it in 3 mode or in 1 mode. And you do want to look out for making sure that your crease in the center where you actually are going to be symmetrical, make sure that doesn't scale back like it was just happening with mine. We are going to take a lot more time with this when we get closer to the end, but this is a nice, great start to our model. So when you're all set and ready to turn this in, I don't want you to keyframe this, okay? I want you to keep this as is, right where it's at. But this is pretty much what I want you guys to turn in. Here's what I want you to do. We're gonna parent a camera to a NURB circle, and we're gonna keyframe the NURB circle flying around. So let's go up here to create. Let's go to NURBS circles. I'm gonna make this NURB circle huge. How huge? About that big. If you need a measurement, somewhere around 30, 35. And don't quote me, it's been a while. I'm gonna lift this up. So it's raised way above. And then I'm gonna make a camera. Create, camera. There's my camera, I'm gonna move it back. I'm gonna get it close to this circle. And then I'm going to look through the camera. Do you remember how to do that? So I'm gonna go to panel, perspective, camera 1. Well, that's not bad. And if you wanted to have a film gate, you could. And eventually, I'm going to alt mouse click that down a little. Get that in a nice good spot. Oops. Oh. Get that right here. Something like, I like to have it angled down a little bit. I'm taking way too much time picking. Let's do that. That's a good start. Okay, go back to my perspective. Persp. And it looks like I need to use your orthographic view here. Your top orthographic view. It looks like it's lined. Ooh. That's why you use your orthographic line. Because it doesn't look like they're lined up here, but they do look lined up from my top view, which means I just have to lower it from my front view. I know what I want to do. I need to lift this up because I don't want that in my way when I am modeling and using it. So I'm going to go back to my perspective here. Oh, it's not bad. I'm going to angle it down just a little like that. Yeah. And it's not in the way here. Let's raise it up a little bit more. Is that going to ruin my view? Yes, angle it down. Okay, there we go. So, as I was saying, keep it out of your front and your side view, so get it above. But check your orthographic views here. The camera's lined up on that circle. That was a great guess. So 35-ish is the right answer. I just had to lower my circle a little bit, and now it's right there. The circle and the camera should be Oops. I just moved my camera. There we go. The circle and the camera should be intersecting one another. Oh man, I had it right and I messed it up. All right. And now I'm going to switch back to your perspective. There we go. And now I'm going to move that a little lower. Just check it, just to be nice. Okay, that looks good. That'll do. That'll do just fine. All right. So in my perspective view, I can parent this. So I'm going to select the camera, shift select the NURB circle, press P for parent. And now I'm going to go to frame number 1, press S on the circle. So make sure I have the circle selected. So select the circle, press S, and then go to, make sure you have 120 frames on here, go to 120 frames, and go to my channel box even, and go to rotate Y for the green, type in 720, right click, key selected. I can even turn my visibility off on this. So if I go here and turn off my invisibility, I don't want to do that, but I could, but then it's hard to find again. So now, whenever I want to Playblast, so I'm modeling and I'm modeling and I'm modeling and I'm modeling, I go through, am I on perspective view? Yeah. Doing my model work, ready to Playblast, I switch my camera to camera 1, and now when I'm ready to Playblast, the scene spins around twice, as if it was on turntable, as if it was keyframed. So I'm going to right click, hit Playblast Options, make sure that I am in H.264. 50% is fine. If you wanted to show off a little bit, be 75%. If you're on a PC, you don't have H.264, you can compress it in VLC, or if you're not compressing in VLC, please scale it down. Hit Save to File. Make sure you scroll down that window. I find that if I open the window, Maya will remember, and it'll stay open so I don't forget to hit this Browse button every time. Go to my desktop. I'm going to call it 421 for the class. I'm going to call it Self-Portrait. I can either call it Self-Portrait 1, or I can call it I underscore, even though it's not really the I. Your last name, and save, Playblast, turn it in. That's what we'll be doing today. Feel free to look at this. I've also provided other people's videos if you are tired of listening to me. And have a good one.